Hello and welcome to BTB Podcast with me, your host, Baron, joined today by Cammy
Roger.
and Xander.
We're in space today.
So if you notice today, we are in Star Wars Galaxies, because of course there was the announcement of Star Wars Squadrons, so this will be a bit more, visual thing when you're, listening to the podcast. And so,
We're aboard my ship, the Cortex Vortex.
yeah.
A neat black Scooby-Doo.
Oh, you took off your hat. Sad.
Yeah, so they can get the full effect.
Alright, well, so, like I said, we're talking about Squadrons, so they released the gameplay trailer as well as some details on the, it's not the community transition, it's the pilot debriefing now, but yeah, it's certainly a fair bit to talk about. I see Cammy's just right.
Hey, what happened?
It's good.
Yeah, he's putting on the helmet, I see.
Yeah.
It'll be nice. Yeah, it'll be nice to have like an updated thing after there's been no big Battlefront 2 updates anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting quite, I guess, for like the fleet battles things to have AI as well, since I thought like, oh, they're gonna do like a more strategic thing. It's only 5v5, but yeah, they're gonna have bots to kind of like fill it up and make it feel like it's an actual battle.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to see Ice Shooter again.
Yeah, I wonder what they're probably just gonna call them actual things.
Yeah, like.
But yeah.
I think.
Like
this was something that I had a thought about is that if we get to like actually have a call sign, whether it's in the campaign, if we get like Red 1 or Red 2, just instead of, because then they could do dialogue without having to specifically reference the player's name because it's custom. They can just go, "Oh, Gold 4, are you listening?"
You mean like how like SOTOR, when they talk to you, they don't call you by your name, they just call you Jedi?
Yeah, like Cadet, Commander, Trooper.
Roger.
Yeah. Unless they did a Fallout 4 and just had like someone record hundreds of names.
Can anybody explain to me what auxiliary power is?
I mean, I assume that's like you have a certain amount of it that you can like give to different components. Like, oh, you use it to boost weapons, use it to boost shields, use it to boost engines, that sort of thing.
So it's like reserve power?
Yeah, I think so.
It definitely looks like an expanded version of Battlefront 2's combat because the interior of the ship has got way more stuff going on. But you actually have to look inside of the ship to know what's going on there.
I hate that it's not in Arabic. It's in English. I hate it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's... Well, I can't even... I can only translate Arabic when I have like a image of what the symbols mean, so...
Yeah, I can't wait to use some Arabic letters when I have my name on Star Wars Squadrons. Like, oh, what's your in-game name?
There's someone just Twitch streaming. It's like, hold on, I've got to translate these subtitles. Give me a sec. I'm sure someone will make a mod or something. But
it's
yeah,
my immersion, dude. I need it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if they had mod support. I don't know if they've addressed that yet, but
hopefully
yeah,
it's like...
have they said what engine
like,
it's running on?
It's probably what's it called? Frostbite.
it kind of looked a bit more cartoony than Frostbite. At least like for some of the actual in-game battle. I don't know.
Yeah, but something by the way, when they showed the NPCs and the kind of the models, it looked a bit similar to because they did the campaign for Battlefront 2, they would, which was also something I wasn't really expecting. But then I had no idea who would develop I didn't even know this game was a thing. We just knew it was called Project Maverick.
And certainly, I don't know how it's gonna play out like balance-wise, but it's great to see like finally a fully cross-platform Star Wars title.
Oh yeah, and VR optional for the entire thing.
Yeah. before VR just has an advantage because they turn around.
No.
Oh, I see you behind me.
Oh yeah, they probably have like a back window on the cockpit. They could just like turn around like they're backing up a car. They're like, "Who's back there?" Oh, I see you.
Backing up. Backing up. Yeah.
Back it up,
I mean,
red one. Backing up.
yeah. I mean, I was actually planning to get a VR headset in May, but then the whole Corona thing happened, and I'm pretty sure Oculus prices have gone even like
Because
further
people
up.
are bored.
So yeah, it was. I mean, and like factories like, not being in what's the word? Not being in use, I guess, because of the whole Corona thing. Which sucks, but I mean, I'm sure it's just as fun as not VR, I guess. I'm sure it's fun in normal mode as well as VR.
It is also nice to hear like they're moving away from like the star card sort of thing, where it's like, oh, it's a modification that adds some to your weapon, but then maybe you fire less often and those sorts of things. Where,
Dude.
hey, if you're a new player, you're not like at an automatic disadvantage because you're kind of more well-rounded.
You mean no more increased turn rate star cards?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, I swear there were like 100 things you could customize about your ship.
Yeah, so I think like people are definitely gonna figure out how to min-max stuff, but it's great, I guess, that they can like specialize and decide that you're like, oh, I don't want to take any less damage from laser attacks, or I want to be better defending against missiles. Plus, like the countermeasures is nice. Battlefront being like, oh, someone's on you, just keep turning.
Yeah.
So you actually be able to use
love-
chaff and stuff.
I love that in Battlefront you can just like fucking outrace like torpedoes and just like make them crash into things.
Yeah. I mean, that was my one thing about Squadrons was like, okay, if they're gonna make a whole game based on this, then the dogfighting has got to be a bit more interesting than just kind of constantly doing evasion maneuvers.
I want Star Wars I want this game to have like something like Star Fox where if somebody was like behind you in Star Fox, there's like a button you can press and it would like make you do like a loop-de-loop in air and make you like appear behind them, the person pursuing you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
so,
never played
like,
the Star Fox. I never played the Star Fox games, but I know that they kind of cleared the way for that genre.
Yeah, I had Star Fox 3D, so that was like something you could do, just like over on top of them, just like fly over and then like get behind them and shoot them.
But yeah, I think it's just cool how many the kind of details are in the game, like being able to customize your I think the starship, the look of the starship itself, and I think someone said something like the helmets that you can wear.
As far as like the microtransactions thing, that was a shock to me, I guess, because like I figured, oh, they'll do like cosmetic microtransactions, and people would be fine with that, but then they instead of saying no, everything through gameplay.
You mean I can't spend my hard-earned cash on this video game?
I would hope that EA have learned their lesson, but again, it's EA, so I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for the moment for the ball to drop where it's like, oh, and also you can buy this edition, or something.
It's gonna be like CTR. You remember that, Xander? They said they would launch without like no microtransactions, and then like immediately after launch, they added the coins that you can buy.
Yeah, which wasn't great, but didn't really detract from my enjoyment of the
But
game.
it's still really whatever. I mean, like the coin rates dropped and stuff, but it wasn't like really that bad if you ask me.
I guess. I was just annoyed at like, if you wanted to get most of the things in the game, you'd have to grind online for a long time.
Sad. But, I mean, if they do that with this game, I wouldn't mind, because I'd probably play it like a fuck ton if it's good.
Oh yeah, I think. Hopefully it's fun to play against AI, because it's not always easy to get like 5 people together to play a game, you know, or even 3 or 4.
Speaking of
Really fun enough for that
players,
co-op thing, yeah.
my friend said that like they're gonna have like a lobby system where you can talk to other people in your squadron and like plan like an attack. Is that true?
Right. Yeah.
I didn't read much about this game. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't read a lot of the articles.
You're supposed to keep up to this stuff, Cammy. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Professional podcasters here.
I had a look at the Reddit post, I guess, and it did contain some important information that like should probably be shown in a trailer or something, maybe. But like the whole AI thing.
I hope the AI are like droid ships. Haha, vulture droid murder mission.
Oh yeah, it's I think unless they add some sort of DLC, it seems to be just set in that era after Return of the Jedi.
I don't think they will.
Yeah. 'Cause that was part of like the interview, I think, where they said that they kind of wanted to do like a more old-fashioned approach of you spend $40, you get the game.
Oh, that's good then.
But we'll see if that sticks around.
I want like I don't want it to just be like fucking like original trilogy or New Republic or whatever. I'd like to see some old content like for online at least. Cause like it's just there's a lot that you could do with Star Wars starfighters, and you're limiting yourself to like one specific era. It's gonna get old, and then the problems that Starfighter Assault has will just be a part of this game because they won't be put content into it. I don't see how that's a good plan, but whatever.
I think it all depends on how much content it releases with. Because if they are going with the whole like you buy what you get, if it's like a full release game, because I think what a lot of these games have kind of fallen into with live services, it's going to start out with missing content, but because it's live service, we're going to add it.
Yeah. It's a concern, yeah. I mean, personally, I don't care that much about a single-player campaign, just because I found the one in Battlefront 2 wasn't actually that fun to play through. It just felt kind of like they were obligated to put it in, so they made one specifically to sort of say, okay, here it is, now shut up, or something.
What, in Battlefront 1?
No, Battlefront 2. Battlefront 1 didn't have a campaign, I guess.
I mean, like, the Iden campaign was alright, I guess, because, like, it had a story-ish, like, I don't know, I guess a lot of people are expecting the whole, like, see things from the Imperial side. They wanted it to be, like, longer. But then, of course, 3 missions in, and you're fighting the Empire, and people got disappointed.
Yeah, well...
They still think we don't know about Sullust.
The map that, never came back. I think it was... I think my opinion on the classic Battlefront 2 campaign kind of changed a bit, because at first I loved it as a kid, and then when I grew up I was like, okay, this isn't actually that good, because the levels are just like, go and shoot this and go and do this. But now I'm kind of in a position where like, I think it was actually pretty genius how they had the whole going from clone to Empire and seeing both sides. It was pretty inspired for back then, I think.
Are you giving praise to Battlefront 2?
I am. People don't often do that. It's an underrated game.
It's not an underrated classic, it's overrated. I hate you, I'm gonna die.
I guess we'll see how in depth, because like I wonder if it's because they said there's gonna be like 2 different currencies. There's gonna be like a cosmetic currency and upgrades currency. So
that already.
Speaking of cosmetics,
to me that already I don't know, that doesn't necessarily spell doom, but it's interesting that like crystal in you could buy crystals, but you couldn't buy credits, and so they split things
crafting
that way.
parts.
So you didn't really know how much you were buying, I guess, in comparison to like a regular grind.
What about Blue Leader Boss or Blue Squadron boss. Trandoshan, man.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think it's already off to a more interesting start with this campaign because they've said that you basically play through both sides at the same time. I think, or like you swap between one or the other, and so you can customize what your Empire fighter will or your Empire pilot will look like, and then your Rebel pilot.
I hope I
It
get
seems
to
kinda
play
weird
as
what they
9 now.
Because
You
it's
can-
like
you can, yeah.
they showed customization for the TIE bomber, and it's like, oh, you change the whole paint, like have a red or a gold TIE bomber. Like,
Oh, that's so sick.
I kind of hope there's
It's
gonna be
me,
patterns.
the very expensive TIE bomber pilot, in my all gold bomber.
Here's a
Wait, can we-
here's a solid gold starship that will get blown up 2 minutes into the battle.
Wait, you know how they didn't want to add pink Vader? Maybe we can get pink starships.
Yeah, just flying around with the pink
Yeah.
TIE fighter. Or,
I mean, I already kind of got excited when they said that you could play as a non-human character, because I'm like, yay, finally a non-human character with like dialogue and stuff, and purpose.
Finally, I get to play as a Wookiee.
wonder if they'd be brave enough to like have it actually like not be speaking basic. So like you're giving like callouts and stuff. It's like, excuse me.
Blue leader, I need you to cover my flank.
What did he say? Tikaka no tuku solo. He said that. Oh.
Wait,
No, I
you can
think,
also have like the droids like on the rebel side talk, like the astromechs, and it goes like, "What did you say?" Somebody goes like, "I'm not a protocol droid." He goes like, "Oh
Yeah, I
yes,
mean-
yes. Beep boop boop means up."
It's the question of like how far will the customization go? Can we get an astromech droid that we make look like that one from the Clone Wars?
Or like customizable astromechs. That'd be nice if it wasn't just a component and like you could do cool stuff with them too.
It'd be kind of cool if they also had like BB droids. I don't know if like the New Republic had them like after Return of the Jedi, but that'd be kind of cool to see them.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, people love BB-8s. I'm sure they'd include lip service to that somehow.
I don't want BB-8. I want what's the one from Resistance? CB-23.
Okay, I thought you can say BB-9E, that the villain in
No.
Battlefront 2 that was put in deliberately to be a parallel to it.
When do we get to play as Bucket?
If it's right after Return of the Jedi, what about Boffins? They all die? I don't think they all
Yeah,
die.
they're all dead to say like, oh, Death Star 2 is not working.
I'm sorry, my Scooby-Doo friends, but you won't be in it.
No. I'm sure someone... In fact, I'm sure someone has got to have done a story at some point, whether it's in the EU or something about like a boffin that just kind of curses out the rebellion because it's like, you used our species for fucking Death Star fodder and now we want
I mean, that was something with I think it was Dark Fleet or whatever it was with Thrawn getting the dreadnoughts. There's like this New Republic Bothan guy who is actually like working for Thrawn's and stuff, but like they were going off for the whole like, oh, all of our kind died to give you information, so give us power.
Oh shit. It's pretty cool, yeah.
Many Bothans died.
Now give me that promotion.
Bothan lives matter.
Excuse me, I'm gonna go check the pilot window real quick.
Okie doke. No, to be honest, it's more a question of like, would I get the game at the time because of other things that are coming out, like the orange marsupial platformer and probably like Lego Star Wars, I think, same month. Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm just not sure. Speaking of Lego Star Wars, though, I did hear there was something interesting where you know how there's like those Lego sets coming out, and they say play this and Lego's
Yeah.
Rise of Sky or Lego Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, that was really interesting because it's like,
So like apparently for those, the code's gonna be the same. So like once someone buys it, they post the code, and then like anyone can put the code in
oh, nice.
and play it.
To be fair, that's always been like the Lego way, I think, of having those kind of
Yeah,
cheat codes.
so
And stuff.
that would be nice at least. You won't have to fork up $70 for the Mandalorian
Yeah.
Lego fighter.
I think it's probably just for like the kids
It's
to buy a
like-
Lego set and be like,
It's
oh,
like
I wanna play this again.
that video Scooby Doo with the Game Boy. Game Boy Advance secret code.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know if this is. I mean, I've played like a lot of the Lego games, but I don't know if it's been a thing where they've directly correlated the sets to the game. And if they haven't before, then I think they've struck gold because it's a really good idea, especially since it's a toy game.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't done that before, which is odd considering like, you know, they make the Lego sets and they also make Lego games, so why not
Yeah.
both?
I mean, just that and the amount of like time they're putting into this game, and you know, there's not much marketing because I guess they don't really do
Yeah.
much marketing for these kind of games. It does make me think it could be like a throwback, especially with the rumors of the dialogue toggle. It could be a throwback to like the original Lego Star Wars games. I hope it is.
It looked like that from one of the trailers, where like you had what was it? You had Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and then
Oh,
like
yeah,
their
he's-
lightsaber fighting, he's yawning.
Just yawning.
Then
Oh,
there's-
that was so perfect.
then there's Vader versus Luke. Vader cuts off his hand, so then he like pops his own hand off and offers it.
Yeah, and then Kylo
And then
making
Kyle
a
is putting
Vader
the snowball.
snowman.
Yeah.
I bet you can probably make that in game as well. That's the kind of thing they do. Or find it in the Starkiller base. Who knows?
I want them
That
to
would be-
recreate the joke from the complete saga, where this like the beginning of the Phantom Menace and the ship lands, and then the fucking turret comes out of the ceiling and like shoots the pilots, and then they just like float in air, and then fall to their death. I want that to be like the only remastered joke if they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
love
they're-
that so
they're-
much.
There have been rare instances where like the dialogue is made for like actually funny, well, in like Lego Lord of
Wookiee
the Rings.
cookies.
Yeah. It was.
I have a
granted, it was
Wookiee
u-
cook in my inventory, ironically.
Oh, nice. It was using the dialogue from Lord of the Rings movies, but there was the scene where it's like the orcs saying meat's back on the menu. I think someone delivers a pizza to the orcs and he goes, "Looks like meat's back on the menu." It was pretty good.
Do we get to play as Slave Leia?
Oh, I hope so. No,
I-
not for lurid reasons, just because it's iconic and like, yeah.
I can't
Yes,
play a
boss.
video game without jerking off. Sorry.
Wookiee cookies. Nice. I think that was one of the last lines of dialogue Han Solo ever recorded. Well, no, Harrison Ford ever recorded before The Rise of Skywalker came out, I guess.
What? Wookiee cookies?
In
Wait,
fact,
they
it's
actually
got
got
exactly,
Harrison Ford for Lego Star Wars?
Yeah, I think they did the
I thought it was just what's her name? Carrie Fisher.
No, they got a few of the casting because I think they recorded the lines like right after the movie or something like that. Because the game came out. Actually, when did it come out? It came out
That's
like
amazing
Hey,
because you wouldn't expect Harrison Ford to like voice in a video game of all things.
Yeah. I think he probably just did it because it was like, oh, this is my last hurrah, but one, you know.
And then they brought him back for the Rise of Skywalker. He goes, they had to convince him that like it's a essential part of Kylo Ren's character.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
it's
Yeah,
the
oh,
only-
okay.
he's
the-
Billy D, so he
It's
probably
the
was like,
only
oh,
video
okay.
game he's ever done as well. Han Solo voice. Ford recorded all new altered lines. Amazing.
Of all the lines Harrison Ford could have like recorded, I need Wookiee cookies for Chewie. Go get it.
Yeah. I mean, it came out. When did it come out? 20. Yeah, it came out.
Oh, you know what's-
June 2016. So 7 months after The Force Awakens.
You know what's funny about it though, right? They got Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher the voice in this game, but they didn't get Daisy Ridley.
Did they not?
No, it's another lady. It's the lady that was the beta voice for Rey in Battlefront 2. That's the Lego voice.
Are you sure?
And then
Huh.
Daisy Ridley was available for Battlefront 2, and then they just like swapped the voices. But
Ah.
it's pretty incredible that they
I
got
find that-
Harrison Ford on his first video game, and then not Daisy Ridley.
No, but okay. Okay, but the thing like I'm thinking is that if Lego Force Awakens came out in June, that means that they had. I don't know if they were allowed to like look at any footage. They said with Rise of Skywalker they were able to look at certain things from that movie, but they still had to like give themselves more time to develop those levels. I think the amount of time they're putting into this game is a bit. It's promising because it's like, okay, we're gonna take our time on this, and you know.
Turns out for Lego Skywalker Saga, they went with the Duel of Fate script. Epic.
Oh my god, yes, finally.
Lego Duel of the Fates DLC. Let's go!
Blessed Lego gods. Or based in.
It's gonna have like a Lego version of what's his name killing himself with Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Hux.
General Hux.
No,
Wait,
not
sorry,
General
Chancellor Hux.
Yes, Chancellor Hux.
Impaling himself with Mace Windu's lightsaber.
Oh, I thought he had Kylo Ren's. Oh, I didn't know he had Mace Windu's.
Yeah, in the concept art, it's the red one, but like in the actual script, it's Mace's.
Didn't they burn all the Jedi lightsabers? Why would he have Mace Windu's lightsaber?
Oh no, it could, like the idea
he collects it,
of
doesn't
episode that one. Yeah, because he's like, oh, I'll learn the Force, and he tries to use the Force on Rose, and Rose makes fun of him for it.
I've
honestly,
never read the Duel of the Fate script, so this is news to me, and I fucking hate it.
It's the concept art is pretty cool. The script I've heard is it doesn't. It's just as bad as Rise of Skywalker in terms of like fan service, I've heard. But I don't know. I feel like I'd probably enjoy it a little bit more based on what I've heard about like Coruscant and stuff, and Rey not being Palpatine's fucking granddaughter, you know.
I heard that there was some leaks for like back when Rise of Skywalker was coming out. There was some leaks about like the script and the Hux was supposed to get eaten by a turtle.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard so many times. That Hux was supposed to get eaten by a turtle, and it's not even in the Duel of the Fate script. I don't think.
You should call up Eckhart Slider for that. He can make a 20-minute video about that.
What was I gonna?
X Sliderheart?
Yes.
No, I'm gonna ask him to make more videos about the breast page.
Dude, the lore is just it's expansive, you know.
Guys, let's talk about hyperspace ramming and about how it's impractical and also practical at the same time.
Oh god. In fact, actually, I wonder if that'll be a thing well, we haven't seen the Lego levels in The Last Jedi, and I'm really interested to see how they play out, especially like the hyperspace stuff and the throne room.
Yeah. I mean, they could go with like the Rise of Skywalker thing, where it's like, oh, that was 1 in a million, it could never happen again. But we'll see. And Hera can what, like hyperspace through the hangar, and like she's still fine after that, or I don't know.
Oh yeah, Hera's in Squadrons. Because they said that you'd see a few familiar faces. There was also Wedge Antilles, because, you know, Wedge the Ledge. Wedge
I hope I get to see my favorite Star Wars character, Zeb Aurelios. Yes!
But like, Wedge should be called Starkiller, because he helped take down 2 Death Stars, which no one else did.
That's it. You've lost your funny points.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just gonna be like the only thing though for like the tie-in and Squadrons of like, oh yeah, it's Hera, and that's all.
Is that a droid?
Yes.
It is.
Droidica, what are your thoughts on Rey? Is she a Mary Sue?
It just goes like,
Interesting.
bow, bow, bow.
Interesting.
Get it?
Interesting.
Trying to get it to face towards the table so it could have like a podcast with us. There we go.
Okay. Good boy. Good Droidica.
Let me see Baron's like footage of this. You can't even see Xander anymore.
And so he shot.
It's so big.
Oh. Yeah.
That's
Overarching
Cammy said.
Droidica watching over us all.
He's the stand-in for Thrawn's.
Yeah.
Yes, here for opinion time.
Slightly
Nice.
wittier than Thrawn's. We might have to talk about it, adjusting the roster.
Alright.
Can I mention something about the Lego game?
Sure.
I hope that they like take some inspiration from like older Star Wars games that could fit into like the Lego style and do it. Like they're like stuff that doesn't even have to be like movie accurate. Like the Phantom Menace for the PS1. There's a level where you have to fight in Jabba's pit as Qui-Gon. That's something they could have adapted into like a Lego style, and I hope they do something like that. Just kind of break like the context of the movies a little bit.
From what we've heard of how it works similar to like other, not in an open world way, but like hub worlds that you can explore, and you kind of launch into the levels from there. I imagine there'll be a few things where it's like, oh, here you can weird mashups with certain characters in certain locations just for the sake of it because it's a Lego game, you know. Hopefully, there's a lot of stuff to explore and do.
You mean like Marvel superheroes?
Yeah. So, because I swear they said something. Well, they said something about like I can't remember. It was something about the hub worlds and how you could launch into them, and that was it. You could in space you could be flying through and you'd get into a random encounter with like TIE fighters and you'd have to take them out in order to progress.
God, I hope it's not like the Cantina. I hope it's like open world, man.
An open galaxy game.
It can kind of be like The Force Unleashed, where it's like open world and linear level, kind of. Like if you want to go fight some Wampas on Hoth and also do the main mission at the same time, you can do that.
I think so. I mean, they said you can start at any movie you want, but I think I've got to go Phantom Menace. I think just because that's where you start. I mean, if you start with like a Star Wars thing, you've got to start with negotiations. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Unless they don't start with that level, in which case I'll be very sad.
I hope we get to start with episode 2.
I don't like sand.
Let's go back to where it all began. Let's start at 4, shall we?
actually, yeah. To be fair, you could do 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, whatever. Yeah.
We'll play it in the chronological release order.
One of the cheat codes you put in is you turn it to Family Guy Star Wars.
Oh my god. Yes. Oh, dear God, make this a thing. But it's like very crude, like Mega Bloks versions of the Family Guy characters. Just, I honestly,
They have like a lot of like the gags from the Family Guy Star Wars where you have to like move a couch into the Falcon minigame.
See, like I know, like Family Guy has become a bit of a meme because people like laugh at it ironically, but I think those and the Robot Chicken parodies, because they got help from George Lucas himself, who's very big on parodying his own work.
Yeah, he did it so much that he liked it so much he made Star Detours where fucking Dengar slaps Han Solo's ass.
Does he actually?
Yeah, he actually does. I watched the trailer again for the first time. Not the first time, but like the other day.
There are legitimately people who want Disney Plus to like revive that, I think.
Yeah, I want to see
No one
it.
wants that. I mean, I'd want it only for like the sake of saying this is really weird and meta. When you Chewbacca.
I hope this Han Solo gets in the game instead of Carbonite Han.
Oh yeah. To be fair, like that's the thing. That might actually be the most like elegant solution to like Lego DLC. Instead of actually making someone pay for DLC, just have the codes from the sets that people can maybe maybe share around. But like a fucking 5-year-old kid doesn't know that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have well, he does have access to the internet, but he doesn't know how to look for those kind of things.
You tell me a 5-year-old doesn't know how to use Google?
They do, but like, I don't know. People would still buy the set, so it's not really like a loss either way.
You know what this is kind of like? It's kind of like what's the name of that game that came out before The Phantom Menace, and after The Phantom Menace came out, they're like, oh, by the way, the starfighter from The Phantom Menace is in this game. The Nubian starfighter. It was like Rogue Squadron, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure because there's a few flight sim games. There's like Rogue Squadron. There was X-wing and TIE Fighter. Like, I'm not.
It was like right before The Phantom Menace.
It might have been Rogue Squadron then, possibly.
Perhaps.
Alright. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed, and catch you next time.
Bye bye.